Hello guys, so today I'm going to tell you how to install Microsoft Visual Studio Code on your system, that is PC or laptop, and also how to set up the Python environment in your Microsoft Visual Studio Code. Okay, so before we move on towards downloading the Microsoft Visual Studio Code, I make sure that you have already installed the Python toolkit in your system, and because it is necessary if you want to run or set up Python in your Microsoft Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if you haven't done that, we have provided a link in the caption. You can go to that link and see how to install the Python toolkit on your system. And once you're done, you can come back here and we'll see how to set up Python and how to download the Microsoft VS Code. Okay, so moving on, in the browser, you can type Microsoft Visual, no, okay, Visual Studio Code. Okay, that will do it. Okay, so the very first link that I get is the code.visual.com, and which is the official website of Visual Studio Code. So I've clicked it, and you can see on the right hand side that there's a window, or there's this image or a snapshot of Visual Studio Code, and in that you can see various languages like Python, C++, and C hash, and these are all the extensions that you can use in Microsoft Visual Studio Code. It is basically an all-purpose text editor, in which you can write codes and develop softwares by download in particular languages by downloading their uh, required or appropriate extensions. Okay, so on the left hand side you can see two buttons, that is download for Windows and a drop down arrow. So if you are using Windows right now, you can click on this download for Windows, and it will directly download the compatible edition or the compatible version of Microsoft VS Code uh, for your Windows system. But if you are not using Windows, you can click on the drop down arrow, and you can download the .exe file for your respective OS, that is Mac OS or Linux. Okay, so since I am using Windows currently, I'm going to click on download for Windows. Okay, so you can see my download has begun. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cancel that. As you can see, I have already installed, or I have already downloaded the VS Code user setup.exe file. Okay, so what you can do is you can pause the video here, and once it's downloaded, you can come back and see what will be the next step. Okay, so I hope you have downloaded over here. And one thing I like to suggest you, once you've downloaded, do not open the setup file from here. Sometimes some people may encounter a bug wherein their IntelliSense won't work after they have installed it. So I recommend you to go to your downloads in your PC, and from there you can click on the setup file. So this is the window that you will get once you click on the setup file. So I'm going to accept the agreement. This will be the location where your Microsoft VS Code will be located on your drive. There's a condition over here that at least 250 MB of free space is required. So to be on the safer side, make sure there is at least 300 MB space on the drive where you are going to save your Microsoft VS Code. And if you want to change it, you can just click on browse, and you can select which location you want to choose. But I'm just gonna keep it as it is. So I'm just gonna click on next and next again. Now I'm going to create a desktop icon, and I'm going to leave the rest as it is, and I'm gonna click on install. So as you can see, the installation of Microsoft VS Code has begun. So we'll just wait for it to complete. Okay, so as you can see, the setup for Microsoft Visual Studio Code, or the installation, has been successfully completed. there's a checkbox here that if do you want to launch a Visual Studio Code. So I'm just gonna keep it as it is, and I'm gonna finish. And as soon as I click finish, the Microsoft Visual Studio Code opens. Okay, now there might be a difference over here. The I am getting the white screen uh, in this as my theme, but you may be getting a dark theme. This is just because I have already downloaded once the Visual Studio Code and had changed my theme to white. But if you are getting back, that absolutely nothing to worry about. Also, once you have opened the Visual Studio Code or you have completed your setup, you might see that you have been redirected to the documentation page of Visual Studio Code in your browser. Okay, but since I have already downloaded it once, I am not getting that. So if you get the pop-up from your browser, there's nothing to worry about. You can just minimize the browser or you can close it. Okay, so about the theme, what you can do if you want to change it, you can click on the color theme and you can choose any theme that you like. You can do that also by clicking on settings and by clicking on color theme. So I guess, oops, this is the one that you must be getting, but I have changed it to Visual Studio Lite. Okay, so that's nothing to worry about. This will be the welcome page, and every time you start your Microsoft Visual Studio Code, this page will be shown to you. So there are certain tabs on your left hand side. This is the sidebar on which there are certain tabs. Okay, so I'll tell you about them one by one. So this is the Explorer tab, wherein you can create your workspace and you can open folders and you can create files. Okay, so this is the Explorer tab. This is the search tab where you can search files that are there on your PC. The next is the Git tab, wherein source code tab, wherein you can store files related, like if you're working in a group and you're using Git, then you can store the files over here, and so that once you edit over here, everyone in your group can see the changes. Okay, so this is the debug tab, wherein you can once you type your code, you can debug your code. And this is the extension tab, and from this tab is what you will be setting up your Python environment. Okay, so let's just go towards setting up a Python. So I'm gonna type Python in the search bar and I'm gonna click enter. So as you can see, there are many Python extensions in the list, but we need to select the topmost one which was provided by Microsoft. And as you can see, I've clicked it, and this is the process of how you can set up Python environment. And if you go here, it will show you the features that it provides. Okay, so I'm just gonna install it. I'm going to install the Python extension. Let's just wait for it to install. Okay, so the Python extension has been successfully installed. Some of you might get a reload button over here. Okay, so that's absolutely nothing to worry about. What you need to do is you need to click on that reload button so that the Python extension is implemented in your Microsoft VS Code. Okay, so there's nothing to worry about that. If you don't get it, if you do get it, just click on it and it will implement the Python extension for your Microsoft VS Code. Okay, so I'm just gonna go across it. I'm just gonna go back over here. Okay, so now as soon as you've downloaded the Python extension, you might be getting a pop-up with the name linter on it. You might be recommended to install the linter extension. Okay, so when you get it, it will be somewhere around here, and you will also see an install button over there. So as soon as you see it, you can click on that install button. If you don't, you will get it soon. I'll tell you when. So we'll move ahead. We'll first of all we'll create a folder for this. So I'm gonna say it as VS Code underscore demonstration. Okay, so it is going to be saved. Oops, oh sorry, I have to create the folder first. So VS Code underscore demonstration, and I'm gonna select that, and I'm gonna select the folder. So as you can see, my Microsoft VS Code has been is in the VS Code demonstration folder. You can see that over here. Okay, so this is when you go keep your cursor here, you can see some tabs over here. This is to create a new file. This is to create a new folder within this folder, and this is to refresh, and this is to collapse the folders in the Explorer. So I'm just gonna click on the new file button, and I'm gonna type hello.py. So here hello is the name of the file, and .py is the type of the file, which is nothing but the Python. It is of type Python. Okay, with the extension of Python. So when I click, you can see my file has been created, hello.py, and this is a Python file, and this is where you might get the linter pop-up recommendation if you didn't get it earlier. And if you get it, when you get it, you have to just click on install over there, and your terminal would open. Now what is a terminal? Let me just show you. Yes, so something of this sort you will be getting, and uh, the linter extension will get installed over here. Okay, and you might see something like this: C users desktop or whatever. So once it is installed successfully, it is what will tell you the errors as you type your code. Okay, so when you type your code and you make some error or some typo, it will tell you where it is by some indication like a red line or something. Okay, so make sure you install that and you do not ignore that pop-up. So I'm just gonna kill this terminal. Okay, so this is your folder wherein you can see your files. This is your workspace, and this is where you are going to be typing your code. So I'm just gonna type print hello world, which is the most basic program. And here on the top right corner, you can see a button, run Python in file in terminal. Okay, so here you can run your code and you can see your output over here. Before that, you can click on this Python here extension, and you can select which interpreter you want to choose. Don't worry, it will be selected for you by default, but in case it doesn't, you need to click over here, and you need to select that terminal. Okay, so I'll tell you one functionality, that is how to debug your code. So you have to select this tab, you have to run and debug, and select Python file. Okay, so here is the functions for it. wherein okay, it's just gone since there was no error. So let me just click it and I'm gonna run again Python file. Okay, so it has stopped over here and it is asking me if I want to continue debugging the program. So here's the button for that. Here is to step over this line and go to the next line of code. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue, and here you can see my output. This is nothing but the terminal. Okay, and this is nothing but the user files and information about that, and this is your output. But if you have too much text over here and you want to clear it, you can just type clear in your terminal and it will be cleared. And now when you run your code, you will get your output over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna type clear again so that it gets cleared. I'm gonna run debug. I'm gonna select Python file, and here, so since I've got my output, there is no error. But if I make some error purposefully and I run and debug, so it will tell you that there is an error over here. Okay, so let me just go and rectify that. Okay, so I'm going to go and create another file in this folder. The name of the file will be text.py. Okay, so let me just clear this. Oops, not there. In the terminal, I'm just gonna clear it. Okay, so as you can see, the thing that I missed to tell you is when I debugged my code, it changed to from Python to Python debug console. Okay, so I'm just gonna click on Python again, and when I go over here and I run, so I get the simple output of hello world. Okay, so this is the terminal. Okay, so I'm going to go back to test.py and I'm going to write a code: a equal to 2, b equal to 4, c equal to a plus b, and print c. So if you have seen, while I was typing the code, there is some menu that displays over here. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate it to you again. So I'll just write again: c is equal to a minus b, and here when I type pri, you can see it is already showing me the print functions. I'm just gonna click enter. I didn't click it, I just pressed enter on my keyboard, and my word was written for me. And now when I put the braces, it is telling me that I need to put a value, I need to give a parameter inside it, I need to put something inside it. So I'm just gonna type c. Okay, and I'll write one more line: a into b, and oops, print c. Okay, so I'll just run this code, and as you can see, I've got my output 6 minus 2 and 8, which is for a plus b, a minus b, and a star b. Now, there is a function of in the Microsoft Visual Studio Code that is find and replace. So I'm just going to explain that to you. So suppose I have another variable here, d equal to 5, and what I want to do is I want to replace this b, all the occurrences of b, with d. Okay, so what I can do is first I will find where all I can find b. So I'm just going to type b there, and as you can see, all my b have been highlighted in orange and one has been highlighted in greenish color. So this is where my current occurrence of B is. If I click on this upward arrow, this becomes orange and this becomes black, green, and which indicates that my current occurrence is the first occurrence, which is uh, highlighted in green. Okay, so what I want to do is, I have found the locations of B and I want to replace all the B's with D except for this one. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go in edit and I'm going to go in replace. Okay, there are keyboard shortcuts for it also. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to find B and I'm going to replace it by D. Okay, so this text box is to find the given text, and this text box is to replace the the one which you typed here. I am going to replace it by whatever I type it here in this text box. Okay, so if I click on this arrow, currently this B is highlighted, and I don't want to skip, I don't want to change this B. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, oops, eh, what I want to do is, I want to skip changing this B, and I want to replace the other B's. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to click this arrow and I'm going to click this button, that is replace. And as you can see, this got replaced and automatically this was highlighted. This B was highlighted. I'll do it again. I'm going to replace this B, and as you can see, immediately the next B got highlighted. Okay, so I'm just gonna undo them. Okay, so now if I want to replace all of them, all the B in my file to D, so I'm just gonna click on replace all, and as you can see, all of them have been turned to D. So I'm just gonna undo it and I'll replace each one of them individually, and I'm gonna click on cross, and now when I run the code, I can get the output as 7 minus 3 and 10, as the value here changed. Okay, so that was the find and replace function provided by Microsoft VS Code. Okay, so I'm just gonna clear this. Okay, so here there are various, this is the terminal basically, and here there are various functions like debug console, the output, problems. Okay, so I'm just gonna collapse this. Yeah, so I'll just tell you some functions over here. This is the, in the file menu you can see new file, new window. If you click on new window, another Microsoft VS Code window will appear over here. Then open, if you have a file already, you want to open it over here, you can open it through here. If you want to save it, you can save it from here. And there is also a function of autosave, that is, as you type, your data is saved automatically. Okay, so by chance if the power goes, or if you click the cross close button, this button by mistake, so you don't have to worry, your data won't be lost. It will be automatically saved. So currently in your system it won't be uh, selected, it will be like that. So what you have to do is, you have to tick it, you have to select it, and it will start auto saving your work. Okay, and this is to close the folder, to close the window. Okay, so next is the edit tab, wherein you can undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, find, replace, find in files, replace in files. So that, so if here you have multiple files over here, and in each of them you want to find an occurrence of certain word, you can do it by using this function, that is find in files. Or if you want to replace them by something, you can write that in replace in, you can do that by using replace in files. So yeah, in the view, what you can do is, here you can also zoom your code. Okay, what you have to do is, you have to tap, press Control and plus, so it zooms, or zooms your screen. And if you want to zoom out, you have to on your keyboard you have to press Control and minus. Okay, so it automatically zooms. And if you want to reset uh, your zoom, okay, you can go in view, and in appearance here you can see the keyboard shortcut for resetting zoom is Control plus numpad 0. So you have to press the Control and 0 on your numpad, and it will reset. Oh, okay, so it was already default. So if I've zoomed in, and if I want to reset the zoom, I have to press Control and numpad 0, and you can see it has been reset. Okay, you can also go in the full screen mode. As you can see, the keyboard shortcut is F11. So make sure you before pressing any or using any function, you make sure you see the keyboard shortcut for it, because I'll just show you now. I've gone into the full screen, but I can't see the command line over here anywhere. Okay, so that puts you in a problem. But if you have seen the keyboard shortcut, you can easily zoom out or revert that function back. So there's one more way of doing that, using the command line or the command prompt. Okay, you have to press Control Shift and P, and you can get the command line, and in that you can type full screen. And here the option you can see is toggle full screen, and the keyboard shortcut is F11, so you can click on that, and you're back as you began. Okay, so command line can be helpful to you. Control plus Shift plus P, and that will open your command palette. Okay, so also, okay, so now this is your workspace, right? And if you want to, suppose you want to compare two codes, so you can split your workspace into two. Okay, so as you can see, this code is exactly like it is over here, and you can just cross it out from here, and you can if you have a similar code over here, you can compare it, and you can see where you have gone wrong. So I'm just gonna shift it over here and close that. Okay, so I guess that will be all. This is the terminal, and some if you want to create a new terminal, you can do it from here. This is to start debugging, and if you want to run without debugging, this is your keyboard shortcut, Control plus F5. Okay, so I guess that's all. Yeah, the settings tab. If you want to know all the keyboard shortcuts, you can click on this keyboard shortcut. If you want to go for the settings of Microsoft Visual Studio Code, you can go here and click on settings, and you can go in that, wherein you can see some function some settings over here, like the font accessibility or the font size. Okay, you can see that all over here, the font of the text in your editor. Okay, you can see all of that from here. And yeah, I guess yeah, see here you can see the font size, it is 14, and the font is the consolas. Okay, so you can change it from here, the tab size and all, up to you. So you have to just toggle from user to workspace. Okay, so this is it. The Microsoft Studio Visual Studio Code has been installed on your PC with the Python environment, and you're free to code. You can also go to the documentation of Visual Studio uh, on their website. Okay, there are the user guide, okay, for everything, and you can just read that out of curiosity, so that you can understand Microsoft VS Code more, and you can use it to your advantage. I agree it is a bit complicated, but it is also lightweighted than other IDEs for Python that are available in the market. Okay, the advantage of Visual Studio Code is that it doesn't require much space on your disk. Okay, unlike the other IDs like PyCharm. And if your PC is old and it is of low power, so PyCharm might not work. The intelligence in PyCharm might not work, or sometimes it won't run smoothly, or there might be a case where it doesn't run at all. But this is not the case with Visual Studio Code. It is lightweight and it will give you no problem even if your PC is low power PC. Okay, so that is the advantage of Visual Studio Code. It is a bit complicated, but it is also good. So that's it. I would suggest you can explore yourself, explore the Microsoft VS Code. You can read the documentation so that you don't fall into any kind of problem before actually implementing settings over there. And so this is that. I'm gonna end the video over here with this note. And yeah, so happy coding. Keep coding.